Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is PMS, subject Social Studies, grade 7, lecture number 43. Chapter number 12, Muslim Scientists, Philosophers, and Travelers. Book pages 55, 56, 57, 58, and 59. Today we will discuss chapter number 12. Ibn Battuta. Ibn Battuta, a world-famous traveler. The main points about him are given below. He covered about 120,000 kilometers, the equivalent of 3 times the distance around the equator. He traveled from Spain to China and from Central Africa to Russian steppes. His accounts tells us much about the Muslim world of the 14th century. He studied law like the rest of his family. But when he was 21, he set off on a pilgrimage to Mecca. On his first journey, he went through the Red Sea to Mecca, then Syria, Iraq, Khorasan, southern Persia, Azerbaijan, and back to Baghdad. He settled in Arabia for 3 years, but then became restless again and once more set off on a long journey. His travels took him to Jeddah, Yemen, Aden, Tanzania, South Arabia, Oman, Hormuz, South Persia, and back to Mecca. His next journey was to the Black Sea, Crimea, Constantinople, Russian steppes, then Bukhara, Samarkand, Khorasan, Afghanistan, Hindu Kush, and across the Indus. By now he was famous and had many friends among rulers, princes, sultans, and emperors. Ibn Battuta moved to Delhi during the reign of Muhammad bin Tughlaq and was appointed as the Qazi in the court. He travelled to the Muslim states of Mali on the order of the Sultan of Morocco, crossing the terrible Sahara Desert, and returned to Morocco again in 1352, and then vanished from history until his death in 1368 or 69. His accounts of his travels is the main source of history and geography of much of the Muslim world in the Middle Ages. Al-Biruni. He is the most famous Arab scientist of early times. Al-Biruni was born in Uzbekistan, Central Asia, and died in Ghazni, Afghanistan. He had command of many languages: Turkish, Sanskrit, Persian, Hebrew, and Syriac, but he always wrote in Arabic. He wrote 113 books on medicine, geography, astronomy, mathematics, and history. Al-Biruni journeyed to India in 1017 to India in 1017. His famous book on India is Kitabul Hind, in which he describes the customs, languages, and geography of the subcontinent in the 11th century. Some of his other books are Chronology of Ancient Nations, Canon, Astrolabe, Densities. He also wrote books on physics. He suggested much before much before Western scientists that the Earth rotated on its axis and that the Indus Valley was once a sea basin. Ibn Rushd Ibn Rushd was born in Cordoba, Spain. He worked as a Qazi judge and was well versed in law. He also served as a physician. Contribution. What was his contribution? His main contribution was to philosophy. His treatise on the work of the Greek philosopher Aristotle made him an authority on the subject. His writings on Greek philosophy were translated and used by European thinkers of the Renaissance. Ibn Sina Ibn Sina came from Bukhara, Central Asia. He was a philosopher, a physician, and an intellectual personality of his time. An intellectual personality of his time. He memorized the Quran and translated logic, mathematics, philosophy, and medicine. His main contribution was his work Canons of Medicine, Qanun al-Shifa, which became the basis of teaching medicine in Europe till the 17th century. He died in Hamadan in Iran in 1037. Ibn Khaldun Ibn Khaldun is known as the father of historiography. Historiography is the study of how history is written. He was born in Tunisia. He served at the royal court in Fez, Morocco, and as Grand Qazi in Cairo. He is called the father of sociology for his observations of human nature. His main contribution, the Muqaddimah, Introduction to the Kitab al-Ibar, is a masterpiece of history and the rise and fall of civilization. He died in Egypt. Al-Khwarizmi Al-Khwarizmi was a famous mathematician. He was born in Khwarizm in Persia. Al-Khwarizmi established the Indian numeral system and the use of zero in mathematics. His famous work is Al-Muqalla fi Hisab al-Jabr wal Mukabala, from which the word algebra is derived. Algorithms, his famous mathematical calculations, are named after him. Al-Khwarizmi algorithm. He also worked on astronomy and geography and made sundials and astrolabes. Umar al-Khayyam. Umar al-Khayyam became famous for his rubaiyat, short poems of 4 lines. He was a Persian origin. His name means tent maker. His important contribution to mathematics and astronomy are less known. He reformed the Persian solar calendar, which is more accurate than the Gregorian calendar, with a difference of only 1 day in 3,770 years. Omar Khayyam is buried in Neshabur in Iran. Note your homework. Mark on an outline of the map of Africa and Eurasia as many of the places as you can that Ibn Battuta visited. Join these up using different colors for different for the different journeys.